Kid!
Yeah?
Are you looking for something exciting to read while you enjoy some sugary cereal?
Yeah!
Then grab a copy of Mighty Mascots from Alterna Comics! Born from the ashes of a disastrous 3D printing accident, 8 living advertisements have banded together to right the wrongs of this world, led by a former child star. These unlikely heroes are freaks to some, but you will know them as the Mighty Mascots. The miniseries is 3 issues full color and printed on glorious newsprint. This is the fun superhero series that you didn't know you needed. Created and written by Keith Gleason, featuring artwork by Ian Morianto and colors by Anton Bondi.
Ahoy, I can't wait for more!
Mighty Mascots is part of your complete breakfast and comic book reading experience. Only from Alterna Comics.
Hey, everybody. It's another Wednesday, and I am Keith Gleason, and you're watching Indie Comics Relay. Hey, and with me, as always, is my co-host here, Johnny C. What's going on, buddy?
How's it going, everybody? It's Wednesday, so you know what that means.
Oh, yeah, it's another episode. And, Johnny, it's looking like I'm looking at the calendar this past weekend, and it looks like we're going to be every Wednesday for at least all the way through April from the looks of it.
Yeah, the way it looks. Well, you know, it's a good thing, though, because it goes to show there's a lot of people watching us. B, there's a lot of creators out there who are making stuff, and, you know, we want to feature them. And, you know, a lot of them are people we know, so we want to give the support to, you know, back to them.
Yeah, definitely. And, I mean, it's a good thing. You know, it's like, I remember when we first started the show, which actually is coming up almost a year now. I think we started
should do like a 1 year special or something.
We should, yeah, we should. We should have like a retrospective, but then we got to fit it in through our numerous schedule. You know?
Yeah, so, we might be biting off more than we can chew.
Yeah, maybe the 2-year anniversary or the year and a half anniversary is more realistic. But yeah, no, it's great. I mean, the show's grown and it's been awesome. You know, so.
Well, I'm proud of the work we're doing here. So.
Yeah, me too. And then. Shout out to, I just dropped today. I ran to the comic store and read Berserker #1, the Keanu Reeves book.
Yeah.
So I dropped a review today. Yeah, I liked it. You could tell just from reading #1, it's going to be a movie. There's just no way it's not going to be. It's basically if you took Keanu Reeves and Wolverine and merged them together. That's what it is.
So he probably couldn't get the Wolverine role, but like this is the next best thing, right?
Yeah, it's like if you took John Wick, got rid of the guns, and then made him Wolverine, and that's what Berserker is.
Okay, I mean that makes a lot of sense.
After I read it today, I made a quick review and I uploaded it to the channel. So anyone watching, that's up there to check out.
Make sure you go check that out.
Yeah, definitely. And then you said you're involved in something, right?
Yes. So one of my good friends, Jared Brown, I helped him write the 2nd issue of his comic series. It's called Advent Dark, and it just launched on Kickstarter.
Perfect. So, and we've been talking with Jared to possibly get him on the show at some point before this Kickstarter ends, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We want to be able to bring him on so that we can, you know, shed a few more eyeballs on his work overall as a creator. But, you know, I want to just kind of give a quick shout out right now to the campaign. It's just started. There's a lot of really cool things on there. There's a cover by Chris Mad that's really awesome.
Is that on here somewhere?
Yeah, it's on there. If you go a little bit further down, it's one of the variant covers.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
Chris Madge is
5 variant covers, huh?
5 variant covers. Yeah, he just couldn't choose which one he liked the best. But my favorite's done by Chris Mad.
Which one's that? Is it this one?
Yep, absolutely. You nailed it, dude. That one right there.
I looked at all 5, and that's the one that drew my eye.
Yeah. It's a real fun book. It's kind of like Hellboy, where it's like aliens and supernatural beings kind of come together to form like a police squad type like team or whatever. It's pretty cool. It's fun to write, and I'm really excited to have people check it out.
Oh, good, man. I'm glad to see you got something new coming out, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this isn't directly my thing, but I kind of helped Jared with it.
Yeah.
I'm part of it, so I wanted to kind of, you know,
if you got to if you got a writing credit, it's like something,
Yeah, exactly. It's a writing credit. Exactly.
Before we bring in our guest, let's play you said the video's short, right? So
quick 30 seconds. Yeah.
All right, let's play it for him.
Is the audio turned on, Keith?
I believe so. Let me know if it isn't.
All right, you got it. There we go.
Look at Johnny C's name right in there. That's great.
And
that's a great trailer, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah, Jared. Honest to God, I don't know who Jared got to do it, but when we have him on the show, we'll get all the details from him. Another fun fact about that book is there's actually a character modeled after me in it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so I play an alien character in the book.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Awesome.
Jared had to immortalize me somehow in his pages.
Fantastic.
But without further ado,
let's bring on tonight's guest. I've been on his show. He has a YouTube channel, and he's associated also with a podcast that I love in the New England area named So Wizard. Shout out to those guys.
Big shout out to the So Wizard guys. Whenever I'd be exhibiting, they'd always stop by the table.
Yep. Always
fun
great
group
to see
of guys.
them.
We love that. Yeah, we love seeing them.
All right, great. Without further ado, our guest tonight is Adam Gagnon. Hey, Adam. Thanks for joining us tonight on ICR.
Absolutely.
How's it going, man?
It's going good. How are you guys?
Good. It's great to have you. I know we were
time.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Very excited.
I know we were supposed to have your buddy Michael. What's the last name? Virgilio?
Virgilio, yeah.
Virgilio. And he's actually out fighting crime tonight, correct?
Yeah. He got called into work, so it's one of the unfortunate things about his job, but he loves it, so.
Yeah, that's great. He's like a SWAT guy, you said, right?
Yeah, he's on a SWAT team.
It's fantastic,
Yeah.
Power to him, man. It's great. It's a tough job, but.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So awesome. So how does it work? Who's the writer? Who's the artist on this book? Is it?
Well, I'm credited as the writer. I actually write the scripts, put the words on the page. But really, we'll talk and we'll come up with a story idea, and we kind of write it like a sitcom where we'll have the A and the B story.
Oh, great!
Because we also have a pretty big cast of characters, so that way we can get more involved with the story getting too out of hand. So we'll come up with it.
Further, the comic book is called Social Studies.
Yeah, Social Studies.
And what's the elevator pitch for your series?
Social Studies is a day in the life comic, a comedy comic that tries to recapture at least the high school experience. So when you're in high school, everything feels monumental. Everything feels like the end of the world. You're figuring things out, but you think you have it figured out. And it's just kind of everything that comes along with it. But now that we're, so far removed from it, we can look back at it and laugh.
Gotcha.
After reading the first issue of Social Studies that you sent over to us, I love how well you characterized every individual and you made them their like stereotypical high school trope, somebody you'd almost see in like one of the John Hughes movies or something. You know what I mean?
Yes, thank you.
A lot of that vibe really does shine through. And I love that about this comic. I also, one of the things I loved about it, and I'm not too sure if you're familiar, but it kind of felt like a indie cartoon series a little bit too. Like, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the show Mission Hill.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I used to love that book. I used to love that show. The short-lived 12 episodes or whatever. Yeah.
I love that you say that because I'm kind of converting the elevator pitch to be through the prism of the 90s cartoons we grew up on, and every single person we've talked to about this is pulling different 90s cartoons. Mission Hill, Recess, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Doug, even a little bit of like the Nicktoons were a huge inspiration.
Really?
I wish Mike was here so we could talk about his style because he he has his own style. It's definitely uniquely his, but you
Yeah,
can see, he got this from
actually,
Doug, this from.
I want to show some of the artwork here while we're talking about it. Actually, before that, let's say hi to some of the people in the chat. Got my wife, as always, Amy. We got Ara joining us. Hey, Ara. Thanks for joining us. Roland. Hey, Roland. Good to see you. Fragile. I don't know what that was a reference to. Randall. Randall's in the chat tonight. Hi, Randall.
What's up,
Congrats,
man?
bud. I
Congrats
saw
on the
you
Kickstarter.
did fantastic on your Kickstarter. Gingerton's with us. Hey, buddy. What's going on? And I think that's everybody so far. All right, great. But yeah, I wanted to show like your website at least here, and just so some people can see the artwork here. I do like the style. It's definitely different. It's it's cartoony, but it's got like a funness to it.
Yeah, I always felt like his artwork really made it feel alive.
It did. The one thing I really like about it too, and it reminds me of the stuff Jim Mahfood used to do. Do you know Jim Mahfood?
The name's familiar.
He did the Clerks comic books back in like the early 2000s, and then also the short-lived Clerks animated show.
Yeah.
And the thing I loved about his style is he had the thick lines on the characters like Michael does here.
Yep.
The very it makes them pop off the screen in the page, which I really like.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where Mike picked that up, but I remember at one point he did a new version of them because it used to be all thinner line work, and he said, "Hey, I've been experimenting with this. What do you think?" And it just made them pop so much.
Yeah, I think it totally works. Oh, I got it. Fragile Christmas Story. Gotcha. I know what you're going for. And then what do you say? I follow Mahfood on Instagram. Yeah, I wonder if he's still doing work. I haven't seen anything new from him in a long time.
I see him at shows. Like he's like at C2E2 and Artist Alley. He pops up, but
but he's been quiet on the comic front, right? I don't think I've seen anything from him in a long time.
As far as I know, not lately.
Okay.
But I have to agree with you, Keith. I do get a little bit of that vibe, that Clerks animated. I was also going to say it's the artwork and the writing itself very much distinctly is the voice of the creators. I don't think anybody else could come to this book and probably pick it up and try to continue the story and have the same charm that you guys put into it. Distinctly, I can see your voices in there and your influences and things of that nature.
I really appreciate that.
I like the dude with the black eye. Is that like a...
That's Turner, right?
Yeah, Turner. Yep.
Somebody that gets punched in the face a lot. Is that
no? It's like we kind of call it a birthmark.
Okay.
Again, I wish Mike were here because he's like really the one who helmed like the character design. Yeah, he has actually drawing these characters, a version of them, most of them, since he was like 6 years old or something. And I met him when he was about 14.
If he watches this on a replay on our channel, tell him to drop a few comments in the link, into the video and on the bottom, so that people that watch it might get his feedback on what he was, his thoughts on the designs and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Does he color it as well? Is he the colorist?
I actually do the coloring.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you, is that digital, or is that like, are you using watercolors or Copic
It is
markers?
Digital. We started doing it on Bristol board, but he lives in Washington State and I live in New York State, so we really couldn't be further away from each other to do it on physical media.
He's in Washington, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I like it. It works. Like, so break down the roles of both of you. So you're the writer and colorist. Do you do the lettering?
Colorist and lettering, yeah. And he does he does the layouts, the penciling, and the inking. Because when I write the script, I write it like a TV show episode.
Okay.
I don't write panel by panel. Sorry.
And that shows. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was going to say, you saying that your writing style, it really does show because it's paced and it feels like TV writing, and I like that a lot because it feels different from most comics. In that regard.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I want to show some of the actual pages here so people can see what the
It also reminds me of Clone High a little bit, like in the style.
I've never seen that, but I could see that. Like I've seen designs from it. I've never watched the show, but yeah, I like it. It's fun. It's like a kind of like a more funny Archie's or something, like like one of those high school kind of, like you said, a '90s cartoon.
Yeah.
So were you guys, like, I was reading, like, I think at the end of the book that you guys were doing this in high school, correct?
Yeah, the way the two characters meet at the beginning of this first issue, where one guy shows up late to earth science class and there's only one open seat and it's another guy who's drawn StarCraft pictures, that's literally how Mike and I met.
I love stuff like that. You did
preface the beginning that some of it was true, so I was going to ask which parts are the,
yeah,
we're
a little bit more based
we're going to leave it a little ambiguous. But that's one thing I can definitively say. That's how we met.
You don't want him to get canceled from his job or whatever.
And some of it too is like, maybe we wish things went this way, or it would have been funnier if they went that way, or if we could talk to our 14-year-old selves.
That's funny that you were doing this in high school and then it stayed with you, right? Is this something that how many years apart between you guys were drawing in high school until like now when you actually produced the book? Has there been a long stretch? Or
the first drawings we ever did together, 1999.
Wow.
Our first issue came out in January 2021. So.
I was 19 years old.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Senior year of high school, interning for a radio station in 1999. Wow.
Nice.
Holy smokes.
Johnny, did you ever do stuff like this in high school? Did you have somebody were you making comics back then? Or?
I was not making comics back then. I read a lot of comics back then, but I was strictly a fan. I think I had the aspirations for creating things, but at that point I was so heavily invested in a potential future
in broadcasting.
Yeah, broadcasting, radio, things like that, that I completely did not see any of that. And then working through coffee shops and corporate offices, and then realizing I had the creative bug, that's kind of where I leaned more towards filmmaking, script writing, comics. That's kind of where that flood opened up. But actually, I was just going to say, this is a great parlay into the typical question we ask of every creator that comes on the show about their origin story.
We totally missed that. We just launched right into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because the book's so great and there's a lot to talk about, but I kind of want to take a step back and, Adam, specifically you, it sounds like you've been doing this for a long time. Talk a little bit about, your creative bug. When did it bite you? Where did your inspirations come from?
I always had an interest in doing something creative, and I could never draw as good as I wanted to. When I met Mike, I got a lot better. He would give me a lot of pointers. I almost had like private art lessons, but we were just hanging out. It was never like intentionally lessons.
Was it Mike that inspired you, or was there comics that you read that like, I want to do this, I want to make a comic,
I did read comics like the big superhero stuff. The 90s X-Men run was kind of like my sweet spot for comics.
Okay, great. I wanted to see if that had any influence on you.
But then I was never like, I'm gonna be a comic creator. I always liked the idea of telling stories, writing stories, that kind of thing. But none of it was pursuits where I would like, as a kid or even a young teenager, sit down and like, I'm going to write a script. I'm going to write a story. It was all just kind of in the moment. Like even when we wrote the comics or drew the comics, then we didn't sit down, break a story, come up with a script, lay it out. We had composition notebooks we were supposed to be doing our schoolwork in, and Bic pens. And Mike would draw a few pages. We'd pass around to a group of friends so everyone could get a laugh out of it. Oh, you should do this next. And then we'd jump into the next thing. And then we all kind of were doing our own version of mimicking Mike's style, and we'd all come up with our own comics based on those characters.
Awesome. Yeah, see, I can relate to you guys because in high school, I was the same way. My wife just mentioned, ask Keith about Limits to Guardians. So like in high school, I couldn't tell you one thing I learned because every day I was drawing comics, like my own comics, and like I had a series called the Leominster Guardians, and it was like me and my like 6 friends, and we would protect the Leominster High School from like villains. It's so ridiculous, so un-PC too. I mean, I remember like one of us had like the Green Lantern power where they could make objects out of the thin air, and I remember we would use it to like grab a girl's ass or something, like stuff that would like get me, like killed now,
Right. Oh yeah.
Keith, I even feel like social studies kind of has a little bit of a flair of your old hero envy books.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kind of same tone.
Definitely that vibe. That like friendship vibe, where it's got like 4 people that are like polar opposites thrown into like, friendship, Yeah,
and that's not an easy thing. I mean, that's not an easy thing to write. It's not. You're not just like slapping characters together. You guys put together a really well balanced. You and your book, Keith, and Adams. You guys weave together a really good story, balancing a lot of characters. And I think that's very cool that you guys did that. And one more thing I wanted to mention: props for having a ska band in the Wesley Palooza backdrop. That's distinctly a ska band.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a big part of it. A big part of it, especially the character Wesley. He's that's his life. He's all about it.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's
awesome.
Is there a specific year like this takes place in, or is it supposed to be kind of ambiguous?
We're doing that ambiguous too, because at first we're like, we started in 1999. Let's do like, way back in the year 1999. But then we're like, is it going to become too much of a gimmick of the fashion, the lack of technology? We're watching this like, DVDs are coming. Things like that. Are we going to get too hung up on the things that don't matter? So they do have cell phones, but they're not on them all the time. We don't say they're on Facebook. They might be posting online, because if you say Facebook and then in 6 months it's not Facebook anymore, you're old.
Right.
Yeah. It's always great. It's always better to just make a generic, like, social media thing,
Yeah.
You don't want to fall into that 70s show trap where it's like we have to like, pay homage to like that era with all these little like things,
Yeah, what are we gonna do a whole issue on Y2K? Like,
right, bro, even you doing that, like not like setting it in that era, your book screams 90s, man.
Right,
There's so many references there. You don't have to set it in the era because you're pretty much doing justice to the era through the words and the writing itself.
Thank you. Yeah, and even though the characters are younger than we are now, we try to give them timely references, but we're not trying to, like, I don't want to make a Rise of Skywalker joke. I want to make a Star Wars joke because that'll last longer. It's not like here and now, especially because like we'll write an issue, but then by the time we get to penciling it, inking it, coloring it, lettering it, releasing it in the sequential order, it could be 9 months from now, so it's not timely anyway.
Yeah, right. And speaking of which, like, check out this awesome comic I just found. There's the cover.
There's your book.
Nice. There's my Leominster Guardians. I mean, just looking at that cover, you could tell what year this is kind of around. I mean, like, he's wearing a Cinderella Rules t-shirt. This kid's got OP. Remember OP, Ocean Pacific? Remember those shirts? That might be for you guys' time, but like this.
Yeah, I don't remember that specific.
And this was me totally copying Justice League International #1, which you can tell, But I thought that'd be funny for you guys to see.
Nice.
But anyways,
I think we sidetracked. We sidetracked even further though. But so a little bit back to like your origin story. Like talk a little bit more about kind of like taking the initiative to say, hey, this is something I'm going to do.
Okay, we always kept in touch, which looking back, we find almost impressive. Not trying to pat ourselves on the back or anything.
Yeah,
but
no, I mean,
we didn't have social media or anything, and we were only friends for about 1.5 years, and then his family moved to Paris.
Oh, wow.
And I was friends with his brother too. Like I'm friends with his whole family now. And we were all really close, and they moved after 1.5 years, and it was, it could be weeks and weeks between phone calls because the time difference and the cost of calling that and things like that. We had AOL Instant Messenger, so we'd get on there like when the timeline would match up a little bit.
Yeah.
and we kept in touch that way. And then when they came back, their family lived in Virginia. And after high school, he joined the Marines, and I was still up in New York in college. So we just managed to stay in touch this whole time and keep it going. And it was just a couple years ago, I was getting more serious into writing. I was taking classes on screenplay writing and, novel writing and how to do characters and how to do dialogue so not everyone sounds the same. And I said, I'm going to write one of our comic stories. We used to call it just Len, Turner, and Roy, the 3 lead characters, but we've expanded the characters and it's kind of a nothing name, so we wanted to rename it. I said, I'm going to write an issue or an episode, if it was a cartoon show, of Len, Turner, and Roy and send it to Mike and really blow him away and say, we should make a run at this thing. And that was kind of the latest iteration of what's now out.
I gotta say too, I think you nailed it with the name of the series, Social Studies. It's perfect.
Thank you.
I love titles that have the dual, like a dual meaning, and I think definitely that does it for this.
It's got a nice little pun to it, kind of thing.
Right, exactly.
I like it. Yeah, great. I really like what you guys are doing, and I think it's great that you guys kept in touch. I mean, like, I don't even think I'm even have any. I mean, I still have a couple friends from high school, but I don't see them anywhere near like I used to,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's amazing you guys kept together, kept in touch, all these years, which is great. Have you guys ever done anything other than social studies, like a superhero book or anything like that?
We had more of a, the Colonial Marines Aliens comic books.
Yep.
That was a huge inspiration for Mike, and we made Marine versions of our characters. It wasn't set in the alien world. It was just kind of inspired by that thing. So we came up with our own sci-fi / fantasy, like our own version of what an orc is, our own version of, a goblin, things like that. And we would do these war stories. Space Marine stuff.
That's cool.
And that's something else that we kind of have in our back pocket. Like, we'd like to do at least like a graphic novel of that story at some point.
Awesome.
Yes, thank you.
I have my wife sharing out links for us. Anyways, no, that's cool. Are you guys? Now I saw that on the website that you guys already have like up to issue 6 or 7 already ready to go, or are they finished, or are they just the covers for now?
Oh no, we finished. I finished 8 about a week ago, and now
you guys are chugging right along. Because I think when I did that, when did I do that interview with you? Was it last summer?
Yeah, I think it was last summer.
Yeah,
we only had
you only had number 1 at that time, right?
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are.
We had a lot pending, and we had some good months where we were getting a book from concept to script to colors and lettering in 5 weeks.
Congrats, man! That's
thank you.
Huge.
I wish we could keep this all the time because we'll hit a dry spell too, where whether it's work or there was crazy year last year between political things and the virus and all that. So we've hit dry spells too, but.
Each issue is about 25 pages. Is that?
Yeah,
accurate?
Some of the early ones get a little long because we had them all written kind of short, and then we said these are too short. Let's cram 2 together, and then we said, okay, these are going to be 60-page comics. Let's separate them again. So some of them are in the low 30 count, but we try to keep them around 22 to 25.
Dude, Adam, that's awesome. I mean. That's huge, dude. You guys got so many books out. I mean, it's amazing. Now, if we just had conventions, you could sell.
I know, really.
that was actually 2 things I was just going to ask. Is one, now you mentioned work, so comics isn't your only thing, right?
No. Comics is our side project together. An early conversation we had was we both have our jobs. We're both married. We both have to pay our mortgages. Things like that. We've both put a lot of time into our respective careers, especially him getting on SWAT. I mean, that is hard work to even get on the team.
That's hardcore, yeah.
Yeah. So we decided comics is something we have to do. It's never going to be when we get around to it. It's something we prioritize, but we know it's going to be a struggle along with the day job. But the more importantly, early on, we said, if one person reads this and gets something out of it, that's great. We have the character's high school career mapped out, and we're doing at least that. So
Oh, wow.
That's cool that you guys set your stake. You know what you're going to do, and that's how you're going to approach it. Now, one other thing you mentioned was exhibiting. Only if we had Comic-Cons. Believe me, I miss going to Comic-Cons.
For sure.
Did you guys exhibit at shows, and what was your typical approach if you did?
We didn't have the chance,
right?
Yeah,
The
you
first
never
show
came out January this year.
Yeah, like when I talked to him last June, I think we talked a little bit off the air, and
it was for your Mighty Mascots Kickstarter, and I just said, "Hey, that's really cool. This looks good. This is what I'm working on in case you're interested."
Yeah, and you sent it to me, and I think it was. I don't even think you had the colors on it at the time. It was just basically the issue, and you might have.
We didn't, or maybe we did. It was originally.
I think we even changed some of the dialogue too.
We definitely did. Yeah.
Because like I know it's sort of the same story, but the dialogue was a lot different. I think.
There was some jokes we wanted to sharpen up. There was some stuff that we were getting some feedback that maybe it wasn't so clear, so we wanted to take another pass at it. I mean, it was our first one, so
it's the way to do it, man. And you learn every issue you produce. You learn, I'm still learning, like every time I finish one.
Much faster now than it used to be.
Like you said at the beginning, at first the stories are longer, then you get, they get shorter. It's like once you start to learn more about production pages, production, costs, things of that nature, that's where it becomes more clearer. And then creatively even too, it's like you kind of want to tell a big story, and then it's like you kind of have a better, idea of how you want to pace it out. And then you, in the process of making it, you make your own discoveries.
Yes.
Which it sounds like you guys have done, and that's a clear-cut path of a creator right there. Shows that you guys are on the right path. You know what you're doing.
Oh, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, so is that the plan, Adam? Eventually, is to get on conventions and start,
for sure. Yeah.
Awesome.
We'd love to get as many people reading it as possible. Not even just for like the sales. I mean, that's almost secondary. We'd like the book to pay for itself, but we're not like, we just want people to read it and enjoy it. So going to cons and stuff is definitely high on our list as soon as we can. Especially like with us being on opposite sides of the country, like I'd love to go out and do Emerald City so we could do it together.
Yeah, that'd be great. I heard that's a great show. I definitely, I'm like, Johnny travels all over the place. I need to get out a little more out of the New England area myself.
Just in New England, there's so many
shows.
Oh, man. Well, you said you're in New York State, right?
Yeah, I'm in upstate New York, so I'm not too far from you guys.
Saratoga Springs is probably a close enough con for you.
15 minutes from me.
Oh, man. They put on a really good show. I'm the MC for that one. Check it out when things start to open up again.
Yeah, for sure. We definitely will. And
I go to that one just to use the hot tub at that spring.
It's all about the perks, Keith.
It's always about the perks. But anyways, Adam, what I was going to say about conventions is go in with low expectations, but go in. If I can give you any advice on tabling, or anybody out there watching on tabling at shows, go in with low expectations. Go in with the expectation that you're going to lose money. You're going to lose money no matter what for the first couple of years.
We want to go in, meet people. Even if I stand at that table all day and one guy comes up and was like, "Hey, I love this. I saw this in it." That would make my day. So
yep. And then the other piece of advice, and Johnny's good with this too, is just if you're having a crappy day, no one will know it because you're going to have a big positive attitude. Be off your phone. People will support you if you just talk to them. People buy into the creator more than the books, I think, most of the time.
Adam, I think one of the keys, there's no magic bullet or key here, but one of the best things you did just say previously was that it's not about making money for you guys. And I think even being behind the table, when you speak about the work, there's a certain level of desperation that you can see people when they pitch their book, and the customer's lost because they can pick up on that. And, when you're coming from a perspective, like you mentioned, where it's not about the money, it's about getting the work out there, you kind of lose that aspect, and you're in turn, whether you realize you're doing it or not, you're more successful in the end.
I think so. And it's also not going to dictate our stories or our creative process. We're not going to say like, "Oh, this is selling good over here. Let's write a story about that."
Yeah.
So, outline.
I was actually
ahead,
going to
John.
say, yeah, sorry, Keith. I was just going to say, playing off that postscript on what you just said there, having the creative control, have you guys ever considered approaching this to a publisher, or do you kind of want to keep it more close to the vest and be like self-published here?
I'm definitely not opposed to working with a publisher if like an IDW or Image, but it would have to be a creator owned.
Yeah, so you guys control the rights, and then
Yeah, because this is so personal to us. I mean, it was even to the point where when I wrote that one kind of first, for lack of better term, script, and I sent it to him when it was fully complete. I mean, obviously we worked on it together since then, like it evolved, but it was as complete as it could be. If he said, no, I don't have time for this, I wouldn't have gone to another artist. This project is the two of us or it's nothing.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's perfect, man. You know, like, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
Did you have a comment? I was going to ask you too, like, how did you, no, you've always been friends with the So Wizard guys. How does that?
Yeah, I actually knew Joey DiCarlo for a long time. He used to be in a ska band, Scarmy
I
of
was going
Dark.
to say, I knew one of those guys was in a ska band. I knew it. Yeah.
And, my naive 16-year-old self would want to put on concerts, so I'd rent a VFW hall and try to get bands to show up. And I had, no money at all. I was working for minimum wage. So once the hall was covered, I would try to give the bands gas money. And Joey's band was always awesome about making the drive. They were always awesome about playing. They were an awesome band. And once they signed on, all the other local bands in like the, New York, Massachusetts, Vermont area would be like, oh, Scarmy's playing? Well, I want to come. So because of my connection, knowing Joey, got these things working. And then we just kind of loosely stayed in touch over the years, talking about Star Wars, whatever it is. And when they started So Wizard, my day job is web design. He said, hey, do you mind helping us out with a website? So I was just kind of the webmaster. And then I started writing once or twice a week. And then I would guest on the podcast. And then I started doing the YouTube thing after I hung out with them at a couple cons. And it's just been so fun. So
yeah, I got a shout out to those guys. I love those guys.
Yeah,
I think they do a great show.
Yeah.
I love their humor, so I love seeing them at shows too. Are you still doing their YouTube stuff for them, or is it kind of slowed down?
Stuff. Oh no, good. The YouTube is I can't keep up with it at this point.
It's tough, right? I mean, it took us forever to get started because I mean before we started last March, and I think I was talking to Johnny maybe 3 months before that, saying, hey Johnny, I kind of want to get this going, and do a show on and kind of highlight indie comics, and it took 3 months to get going. But I mean, a lot of honestly,
because I was very hesitant at first. I was like, do I want to jump in this? Everybody and their mother has a stream. Like, I don't know, but I'm so glad I did, because even, in a year where we didn't have conventions where I'd normally meet other creators and mingle at the bar after the show, I didn't have that, but this gave me a new opportunity to not only feature my friends, but also meet some new creators, which was wonderful.
For sure.
Yeah, honestly, we've met so many new people, Johnny, that we would never have met without this show, and discovered a lot of books that I would never have seen,
Right, yeah.
I mean,
specifically social studies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, I mean, honestly, if I didn't know So Wizard, I mean, you would never reached out to me, Adam, when I was doing the Mighty Mascots.
No, because I did that interview for the So Wizard YouTube.
Yeah,
and now here we are.
Right, I know. It's like now we're returning the favor, and we have you on our show. Which is awesome,
which again, thank you.
Kind of like great. A cyclical nature with indie comics.
Yeah, we all got to help each other, prop each other up.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I like about comics in general. There doesn't seem to be a lot of jealousy. Like everyone kind of like you go to a show, and I mean, I'm almost every time at a convention, whenever I go to a new show, I'm almost immediately friends with the neighbors next to on either side of you, and then maybe across from you. You always get to know those people over the whole course of the weekend, and some great friendships have come out of that. You're
all in the same boat, so there's room for everyone.
I also have to say I'm a little bit jelly because you guys are doing everything independently. I was starting to think about, you guys did so much in 1 year, and then I'm like, well, wait a minute. you guys are all both working together. You're doing all the work under the roof. You're not outsourcing your lettering. You're not outsourcing your art. You're not outsourcing your inking. You guys are doing everything independently. So, I mean, no wonder you guys have so many books out in such a short amount of time. And I think that's wonderful because you're actually passing that value back onto the reader. You know, it's not like it's not like you have a staked amount of money like in a crowd fund where you're like, I need $9,000 or this isn't going to happen or XYZ. You know, you guys have it done already. It's you know, there's books out there already for people that can go to the website, check it out.
Yeah. And we wanted to make sure we like to cut it up into chapters, and each chapter is actually a season. So the books, or the first chapter, the first issue is fall, because that's when you go to school. And then it goes into winter, into spring, and then it's summer, which is going to be, you know, crazy. They're out of school, and then it'll start the next school year. And we wanted to make sure we had a whole chapter done before we launch. So all of fall is finished. It ends on a big Halloween issue.
That's fun.
Cool.
I like that a lot. I like the plan too. I think that's a great idea because you don't normally see that like in a show or even a comic or anything like.
Yeah, we
usually just like
progression where the characters would age and grow and learn, and then maybe things that they didn't take so serious. Maybe they should have. You know, things like the things that you actually learn, like when you're looking at colleges and you're like, oh man, maybe I should have actually showed up to math. You know, things like that.
Yeah, no, that's fun. I like that. It reminds me of remember Mike Grell's Green Arrow? Did you guys ever read that?
No, I didn't.
No. It was like the 90s or something like that. The thing that was unique, I mean, it was Green Arrow, but the thing that made the book unique was that Mike Grell wrote every issue was a month. So 12 issues was a year in Green Arrow's life. And you know, I forget what month it was, but every time he hit, like, say, March in the Green Arrow universe, Green Arrow would have his birthday. So it was like every 12 issues, he would be celebrating his next birthday.
That's cool.
I always thought that was unique because no one in comics was doing stuff like that, you know?
Right.
And that's why it still is in my head about, you know, and he did the book for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. So it was like supposed to be like 5 years of Green Arrow's life, you know, which it's great stuff. Really if you ever get a chance to read it, it was really good.
Can I just say, holy shit, Gingerton, he does look like Jared Padalecki.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He looks like Sam Winchester.
What? You get that a lot, Adam?
No, I've never heard that before. And I'm sitting here
compliment good.
Bro,
he's a good-looking dude.
I'm gonna bring you to a convention and pass you off as Jared Padalecki. We'll get some money for some
area.
Yeah, dude, you get cosplay as Jared Padalecki at the show. You know,
oh, bro,
I haven't watched that new Walker. Is it any good? Anyone seen it?
I haven't watched it.
I saw it was CW, so I knew I was kind of in question already. You know,
maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm too much of a Supernatural fan, but Walker.
Yeah, done. One episode's enough.
Yeah. So
it was never even good the first time around. So let's be serious. Right. You know, but anyways, go ahead, Johnny. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, Adam. Now you guys are doing everything independent. Have you thought about going to Kickstarter or Indiegogo for the project? Something just to have a source of revenue, or just to bring more eyes to the book?
Yeah, before we get there, I just wanted to say one thing about, you were mentioning we do everything in-house with the coloring and all that. I wanted to give a big shout out to Andrew DeVal. I think he's Man of the Valley on Instagram, something like that. He's a fantastic artist, and he was actually going to color the book for us.
Okay.
We're going to bring him in as the colorer. And then he said, you know what? This book is so personal to you. Why don't we get on Zoom calls or whatever we were using, do screen share, and I will teach you to color a comic. Because before November 19, I never colored a comic ever.
Wow, so, that's very generous of him.
Gave me this crash course. It was incredible. So I have to shout him out. He's an amazing artist. He kind of does it all. And
awesome. What was his name again?
Andrew DeVal. He went around with the So Wizard guys. He's friends with them. That's how I met him, through them.
Oh, okay, great.
He doesn't do a ton of social media, but I'm pretty sure he's got an Instagram.
Awesome. Yeah.
I mention of that.
When you do shows, I would definitely love to have you come down and sell at Plastic City. You know.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know, I'm I'm still like, we still got to make the decision in April on whether this year's show is going to happen or not. But, definitely I think 2022 is going to be a go. But 2021,
we don't know.
I know Biden's saying that everyone's going to be vaccinated by May. I mean,
so they
can't even get on the website. So it's like, I don't know if that's going to happen.
They canceled San Diego for July, but they also announced a 3-day thing for November.
I saw that. Yeah.
So
it
it
excludes me because I'm on the waiting list, but I saw that. I was like, that's kind of cool,
Yeah.
And I'm curious if New York's going to happen because
I would be shocked if New York's going to happen.
I would too, with all the stuff going on down there.
The Javits is still a morgue, so I doubt it.
Is it? I didn't know. Yeah,
I think so.
10 days now, but yeah, like if I.
It's all right. We throw the bodies to the side. I'll set up.
They're just cosplayers. It's the Walking Dead exhibit.
Yeah, there you go.
The House of the Dead exhibit.
To get back to your Kickstarter question, though.
Yes.
Kickstarter is something we talked about. We like the idea of it, but we thought I don't want to disparage anybody, so no one take this the wrong way, but we wanted to earn the Kickstarter audience. We wanted to deliver a product, build an audience, and then when we said, hey, we're kickstarting this new thing that's kind of cool, you liked this other thing we did, then they could follow us over.
It's smart. Cool. It's smart because like right now you're in the position where the only people really looking at your book is like friends and like, relatives and things like that until you get out there and start pushing it.
Right.
Like, and building that audience. That's what Johnny's kind of in the same position, right, Johnny? Where
a little bit. So like I'm, I feel like I'm like kind of like plateaued a little bit with some of the books. So I'm like, okay, I got to bring it to Kickstarter. I didn't have my year of traveling, so I'm not connecting with new people. So I kind of have to start generating audience, through other means and through Kickstarter. I mean, effectively, Kickstarter is a pre-ordering method for self-publishers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, ultimately, if I were you in your guys' shoes, I would do the whole book. I would probably put the volumes out through like a digital platform like Global Comics or Webtoons. Although I think Global Comics would be perfect for you guys. And then, and then collect it. Put it in a collected edition and put that on Kickstarter,
That's exactly our plan. That's the next thing I was going to say. Our plan is we get to Halloween, then announce the trade of the whole first chapter on Kickstarter because we figured, one, you're getting, it's going to be a lot of content. It'll be over 200 pages of content. And we can work with a marketing company then, which we've already talked to a little bit to get the whole plan together. But then we also want it to be like, here's old drawings, here's origins of this, and like make it like a collector's edition. But it would also be a really good jumping on point where if someone's like, oh, hey, what's this book? I'm interested. Now they can buy the trade. We'll still have individual issues too, but.
Yeah, may I suggest like something that we're doing on this channel too is and that you should do if the So Wizard guys will let you, which I'm sure they would, but make like a minute or 30-second trailer for Social Studies.
I was thinking about that when I watched
run it on the beginning of your videos. Why not? It's just going to help, and then rip the audio so that Joey can run it on the podcast. I'm sure he would do it for you.
That's a good idea.
What I mean? Yeah, why not? It's
in the works. It's a little delayed because again, the comic is our main focus,
right? But when you get to that nice spot where, like, because you got a handful of issues now.
The video I could do. But we were looking at. Have you ever seen the program Adobe Character Animator?
No, I have Photoshop and Illustrator.
Yeah, it's like a really basic 2D animation thing, but everything runs on a puppet. Well, that's what they call them. So we would draw. Say we draw Turner as a puppet, but then you can put joints and stuff, so you can move the arms and have him wave and pick things up.
Is it easy to use?
Kind of like the old school South Park method.
Yeah, kind of like that, definitely. It's pretty easy to use once the initial drawing's in and loaded, like as long as you load it in their format, because then you can record and it has like 26 different mouth shapes and it'll match them up and it's pretty accurate. I did like a crude version that I kind of drew, and then Mike and I were talking about let's do one for each of our characters and then do like 3-minute YouTube videos where one character would like kind of be running their own talk show and the other ones are just, they're not into it. They don't get what he's doing because he's basically talking to the audience but they're not breaking the fourth wall. So that's something else we kind of had in our back pocket that we're trying to get going. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's just,
Nice.
I mean, as it gets out there and as it grows and you guys do more issues, that stuff will come, I think,
Yeah.
easily.
We're just trying to think of how to hit every channel, and right now we don't really have anything for YouTube, but YouTube is such a huge search engine.
It is, and it's like it takes a while to build up. Like, I mean, we've been doing it for a year. When I started this channel, I had already had like 200-ish kind of subscribers from, our old podcast, and then we grew it to we're almost at like 468. So we're closing in on 500.
Nice.
So it's growing, and that's pretty good in a year, I think.
As long as we can spin those viewers around back to the creators,
Yeah, and like I think the other thing, consistency. Me and Johnny have been here. Something's been going up on the channel every Wednesday. I think that helps.
That's definitely huge. Yeah.
So it's like people know when to kind of come. So, it's just we have new creators every week. We've had some repeats, but it's been very, very rare. Usually it's somebody comes back on the show if they have a Kickstarter or something. But yeah.
Sure.
So one more thing I was going to ask Adam is that you mentioned you work, you got a family, you got comics. How do you juggle all of it? Like, what do you do?
I just do it. I just find the time. A lot of times I'll have my laptop and my drawing tablet on my lap while I'm watching, TV with my wife after dinner. Or I get done with work at, say, 3 o'clock because I start pretty early. I close that computer, swivel my chair over to the next computer, and work on a page until, I can't.
So you just fill in wherever you can.
Fill in wherever I can. It's been a little easier working from home the last year because I don't have that commute. I can get up early, get on to work early, and then get started on the comic as soon as work's done without, that hour drive slowing you down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've been finding like the pandemic's been great for me. I know it's a horrible thing to say because a lot of people
I understand. Yeah, I'm happy about
this year. I had It's just as far as creativity goes, I like.
Mm-hmm.
The Indiegogo was huge for me. We started the channel during the pandemic. Just everything's been good. The only thing that's kind of sucked is not having our convention, Plastic City.
Yeah, but as far as getting creative,
I don't rely on that money. So
like, a ton of time.
What's that?
I said, for creative people, as far as like we didn't get conventions and all that, but it opened up so much time for everybody.
Oh yeah,
yeah, definitely. And Gingerson said, "I'm always blown away by people who can juggle it all. I don't have any kids for that reason. Really.
Yeah, I don't have any
among
kids.
others.
It makes it easier. But
yeah, same here. With me and my wife don't have kids either, so that always makes things really easy. So to find the time. But yeah, no, I applaud you, Adam. I think you guys are doing a great job with this, and people seem to, a couple people commented, said that they thought it looks good, and I agree. And I wanted to show a little bit from issue 2, since you had.
I was going to say, yeah, definitely keep going as long as you guys have a story to tell, because I really think you guys have a special project in your hand. You can tell it's very personal to you, and I love just reading something that it comes from the heart of the creator, and you can very much tell that this project is that for you guys.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, we have a lot coming, so stay tuned.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Yeah, I really like, and I'm impressed that both you and Mike have found the time to put this together in your spare time. I mean, it's great. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah, it's sometimes challenging to find the time, but I find like I love doing it, and it's relaxing because I'm doing something for me. So even after a long, stressful work day, to color a page, it's like meditation.
Yeah. No, I get that. I do a lot of. I don't do a lot of coloring or artwork on my stuff, but I letter, and I find that relaxing for some reason. And I feel like, to me, it's like editing a movie. Like you're putting that final touch on the product with the lettering,
Especially because, like, in lettering, we'll even find like, oh, what if we just change these 2 words and it's that much stronger and it fits better, and like it's like doing a puzzle. It's fun.
Yeah, I preach to the choir, man. I've been preaching that since day one. When you're the writer and the letterer, you can George Lucas the hell out of your book, which is fantastic.
Yeah, you just consider that a third or a fourth pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
It's never done.
Yeah, no, not a lot of people do it, and it's like I bet I would love to, Johnny. So you don't letter, right?
No,
You
I
have a
usually
letter your
outsource
stuff.
it.
So
Yeah.
like, has there been times when you've gotten the artwork back and you look at the script and you're like, oh, I wish I could change it to this, and you kind of don't because
A little bit.
Yeah.
There's some times where I've written stuff out and it's kind of evolved, and then I go back and I got the pages back, and then I go back to my original notes, and I'm like, oh man, I kind of strayed from what my original idea was. Even though I like what I did, I was like, oh, maybe I lost a little bit of the translation I initially planted. So there's many times where I have regret. So one of the things that in outsourcing all of the work is that in hindsight, I have fewer opportunities to be able to go back and make those changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Adam Warlock says, nice chat tonight, guys. One day, hopefully I'll make a trip out to the East Coast and see you at a con. Adam,
Please do.
Yeah, we'd love
or
to
I'll
see
come
you,
to
man.
you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, let us know where you're at, because Johnny gets around more than I do. I definitely want to stretch my wings and get out of the New England area, though, at some point, But if you ever come in the New England area, Alternatives here, a lot of people we know or do the major shows around here. So there's a good comic scene up here in the New England area, definitely.
Sure, yeah, a lot of cons. Well, when we're allowed to have cons, there's a lot of cons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Adam,
right?
if we cross path at a con, there's a drink on me.
Oh, thank you.
And
or
then,
at least 3 for every sample comic you slid my way. So.
There you go. There's a few cons in Florida. I might go to this year. Yeah, Johnny's been to a few in Florida, right, Johnny?
I went to Spooky Empire in Florida. I was a guest there. That was a fun show. I've been to Tampa. That's a good show.
Yeah, we definitely would. We I think if I ever go to that one, I might take the whole week off and just enjoy Florida.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
yeah, make a trip out of it.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm still considering Chicago, Johnny, because you said C2E2 is still happening, right? It's late this year.
Well, it's supposed to be happening in December. Now, whether it's actually going to happen or not, I don't know. I was aiming for C2E2, but now San Diego's all like, oh, we're going to do a 3-day in November. And
yeah, now you got to see when that is, right?
yeah.
Oh, you know what? Save up, do both of them. I mean, why not? I mean, about it now.
I have the airline miles, and I love both cities, so why not, right?
Yeah, right. Save it up, for the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Supposedly, like Biden said, everyone will be vaccinated by May. I just think he meant May 2022, not I don't think that's happening, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I hope. I mean, I would love to be able to do Plastic City, but it's all depending on Massachusetts.
Mhm.
Because honestly, I don't want to sit there at the door and take people's temperatures and check for masks and all that.
No,
crap,
nobody wants to do that.
I want nothing to do with that. I just want
Right.
to walk around like an idiot and talk to people,
Yeah,
I don't want to manage anything.
I miss walking around and checking out other creators in
Dude.
Artist Alley or
Well,
Small
that's
Press, and
for
checking out
me,
new books.
that's the best part of conventions is walking around and saying hi to people and checking out their work, And
Yeah,
Adam,
luckily
I can't
we
wait
have
for
this
you to
show.
experience that for the first
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, we're really excited for it. We definitely want to do it. Hopefully we can do some together when we get to do them at all.
And I'm in Northern California. Hopefully we'll have some good cons here again. The better cons are in Southern California. Yeah, that's like WonderCon, right, Johnny? Or yeah.
WonderCon's in Anaheim. I did San Francisco Comic-Con.
Okay.
The last year they did it, where it was the hottest year ever in San Francisco. And then the funniest thing is that the next time I went back to San Francisco, it was the coldest it ever was in July. So apparently San Francisco just doesn't have the right temperature for me.
And Adam, I've been trying to get to San Diego Comic-Con for at least 6 years now.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Every time I apply, I get waitlisted, and it's just like, oh God. one of these days I'm gonna get accepted.
You'll get through, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, because San Diego I think is tougher now because they're less comics and more everything else. So
It's like a showbiz con.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So but it's like the con, you know what I mean? It's just the sheer numbers. You're bound to do well, you know. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Now, Adam, I wanted to ask one more question. Was so you could see that there's a lot of '90s cartoon inspiration in social studies. Do you want to maybe shout out a couple of the comic books that may have inspired you growing up, or even for social
me
studies?
growing up was a lot of Marvel and Batman.
Okay.
When I was even younger than that, we would drive to Canada a lot. Half my family was in Canada, so we'd do the trips from New York to Canada. It was about like a 3.5 hour drive. And we always got Archie comics. I don't even know where we got them, but we always had those double digests, me and my sister.
Classic. Yeah. Classic.
Just a bunch of Archie and Alpha Flight comics.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know where they came from, but I remember whenever we went to Canada, there'd be new Archies, so that was great.
Cool.
And I know Mike's big inspirations was Colonial Marines was a big one. He used to trace the Nintendo play guides, like the books that came with the Nintendo games.
Oh, okay.
And so he would trace them to learn how to draw and learn proportions, and then he kind of took over from there.
Interesting.
Colonial Marines was big for him. And what was the other one? The artist who does Earthworm Jim, I know he's really big on.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I forget that guy's name.
Yeah, I forget too right now. But
Yeah. I know he's been doing like Kickstarters and stuff too. I think he brought Earthworm Jim back as a comic on Kickstarter.
I think so. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
I missed that whole thing, but I heard he's like kind of crazy too. So
he does like bizarre stuff, but like I guess his line work is just really
he's very
odd.
cartoony. I like the look of his stuff. You know, I love like the style Mike has too. It's like very cartoony. I love that kind of stuff. You know, and it could almost be a comic strip too, besides a comic book. You know, like a Doonesbury or something.
Yeah. We would like to do, like even if it wasn't like a regular scheduled thing, we'd like to do like a 3-panel, 6-panel, like one-off joke that doesn't tie into anything else, for our social medias or something.
Yeah, or for like a back cover or something.
Yeah, anything like that. It's just hard to add another thing on the plate right now. So
yeah, right.
Well, I like that you guys are focusing on one thing. You're not spreading yourself thin. You're like, social studies, this is what we're doing, and you guys are nailing it.
Right, that's the thing. That's everything right now.
I think you guys have enough issues though now where you could start doing the marketing side. And
I stress the timeline so much that we're not going to be able to keep up once chapter 2 starts. I probably drive him crazy with like daily phone calls. I'm like, I don't know. I think we got to do it faster. And he's like, I'm on every day.
Twice a day. Let's go.
I think you should start peppering that in a little bit because it's such a huge part of being an indie creator is getting that marketing side. And I'm bad with it too. I've been trying to up my game a little bit with this channel. And then I try to do, tweet out some stuff about my book every once in a while because my publisher Alternative, Pete, he always stresses to us if you have a book and if you don't tell anybody about it, no one's going to care about it. So it's like part of it is trying to kind of get that going for you guys.
Yeah.
So I recommend start thinking about that a little bit.
For sure. Yeah. We do post on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I set up a buffer account so I can schedule them ahead of time. So I try to schedule them for like a couple weeks. And then I try to manually go in and do ones as I think of it, more on the fly. Like I had one scheduled for, it was either yesterday or today, but then I also went on and, posted this link. Not that we have a ton of followers, but I'm just trying to be active on it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll put, when I put this on our channel, I'll put in the description all your social media. So
thank you. Yeah.
Know where to go. And, everybody that's watching, definitely check out Adam and check out this book. I think it looks like a lot of fun. Are you reading anything now? Do you read any comics now, or you don't have time for it? Or
that's the weird thing. I always try to consume pop culture, especially because the stuff that inspires me to create. But I'm trying not to consume anything that I might lift from, even accidentally.
Gotcha.
It's weird. Whenever I hit a writing slump, I rewatch Mad Men. Of all things, I don't know why, but it makes me want to create something because it's so.
I want to see that show. I've never seen it. Is it really good dialogue? Is that what really
Yeah, it's
drives
just
it?
incredibly well written. The characters are complex. It goes places. It nails the time period. I think I've watched it all the way through, beginning to end, 5 times now.
Oh wow! I gotta add that to my list to watch.
Yeah.
Have you seen that show, Johnny? Have you seen Mad Men?
I have not, but I've heard a lot of good things. I think
And I like
need to
John
give it a shot.
Hamm, but I didn't discover John Hamm until after Mad Men.
Yeah, I think Mad Men is what really got
put
him
him
out
on the map. Yeah, and everything I've seen him in.
I mean, I'd watch it for Christina Hendricks alone. So,
well, yeah, there you go.
I just saw John Hamm in something.
She's one of my favorite gingers, actually.
Waiting for the
reply. Oh, I know what I said.
Yeah.
I watched Richard Jewell this weekend, the Clint Eastwood movie, and John Hamm is in that as one of the FBI
I haven't
agents.
seen that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's actually really good. It's just a good movie about just how the media can destroy somebody, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely got to check that out, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie. But anyways, yeah, so we're getting a little over an hour now, so we should probably start wrapping things up. So Adam, like, let's, where can people find you? Like, what's the best place that anyone, do you have like a free preview of the book anywhere that people can take a look at, or?
We have the first 3 pages of every issue on our website.
You
can get the cover, first 3 pages. We sell digital copies on the site. You'll get an instant download. It's only $3.
Okay, that's not bad.
We have our first 2. 3 is pending on Comixology right now. And hopefully by the end of next week, we'll be on Comixology Unlimited.
Oh, great.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good place. And then Johnny mentioned, take a look at Global Comics, too.
Yeah, Global Comics. I'm going to write that down, actually.
So one of the cool things about Global Comics, Adam, and I think you'll like this a lot, is that I don't know if you're familiar with Comixology's guided view.
Yes, that's what I'm setting up right now.
Yeah, so with Global Comics, you can do your own guided view. So you can actually isolate your own panels as you see fit. And as a creator, I like that a lot because it allows you to be able to move the reader's eye.
Control the story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you control the story that much more. Check out, I think there's some links for my work in the chat. If you click on that, you'll actually go to the Global Comics. You can read some of it.
Yeah, and I put it in the description
see how
of the
it
video
works.
as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you want, we had the guys that run Global Channel on our, we interviewed them.
Oh, nice.
Back May, Johnny? It was a while back.
It was one of the early shows, but yeah, it was a while back.
We really got into the the site and and different questions for them. So if you have a chance, just throw that on for an hour.
Yeah, definitely will.
Just driving somewhere, just so you can hear about it and see if it'll work for you. The reason me and Johnny push it is because with Comixology, you kind of get lost a little bit, whereas Global Comics, you have the ability to kind of stand out a little more, and it's all independent people on there.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, take a look. It's worth it. You can set up and you get good stuff. So, you get readers out of it. I noticed I put my first issue up for free there, and I'm getting a lot of views on it.
That's something we've been considering is maybe when issue 5 comes out, we'll
put the first one
put the first one for free. Not to punish anyone who's already supported us, but
no, but that's the way. That's how it works online. I think.
Yeah.
When you're at conventions, you'll sell a lot of number ones. I think people.
Oh, good. Yeah.
To look at it, But yeah. So now the site is social studies.
socialstudiescomic.com.
Socialstudiescomic.com.
Yep.
Okay.
Really easy to use site. We have the digitals there, like I said, and we are selling print ones also. Really nice print, full color, high gloss paper. We went 3 or 4 different places before we decided on the one.
What's the shipping cost on it? Are you charging shipping? Or
yeah, we have to, unfortunately.
Right.
The shipping
is it a lot though? Is it reasonable?
I think it's $2.40 or $2.80.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not
I
bad at
kept
all.
it as cheap as I possibly could.
Yeah. So one issue is $3 plus, so about $5 shipping, or $6 with shipping, right? If you get one issue,
it's $5 for a print.
Oh, okay, $5 for print,
3 for
and then
digital.
So about
we
$7-8
pay more than $3 to get them printed. So
gotcha. So if they order a couple, it would be about the same shipping wise.
Yeah, it's within $1, I think. Yeah. So right now, if you order 1, 2, and 3, you could probably get all of it for right around $20, maybe a little bit less.
Awesome.
That's a bargain.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And like I said, the digital, I mean, it's $3. Try it out.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And then are you on the social medias as well?
We are. Facebook is Social Studies Comic. Twitter is Social Studies CB. And Instagram, I believe, is also Social Studies CB.
Okay, yeah, and people, you don't have to remember that. I'll put everything in the description of the video
too. So
and then once this video goes live on the channel, they can just go to the description and snag it from there. Yeah, support Adam and support Mike, who couldn't be here tonight because he's fighting crime out in Washington. You know,
get him on next time.
Keeping the streets safe. Which I hope he checks us out later, though. I think
definitely.
I think. I'd love to have him comment on a few things that we talked about,
For sure. Yeah, he'll give a lot better insight than...
Yeah.
And we'd love to have you guys back on in the near future, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, maybe when you get if you're going to do Kickstarter down the road or when you get the trade going or something.
Yeah,
we'll come on. We'll make sure Mike can join us.
Yes, exactly.
Because I want to get into the high school hijinks next time. I want to know. I want to know what you crazy kids got up to in high school, which is real and...
episodes
give us some exclusives.
Check those out. Things go a little crazier. The first issue is a lot of introducing people. I mean, we're very proud of it and everything, but 2 and 3, it's definitely you're in the thick of it now. You know who these guys are, and you're just along for the ride.
That's great. I love stuff like that. All right, and then Johnny, what do you got going on? Anything you want to push? Anything you got want to tell people about tonight?
So I definitely think people need to go check out Social Studies. I loved reading it.
Great.
Loved having you on, Adam. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you again.
Absolutely.
Before we give you a plug, Johnny, we forgot to mention So Wizard Podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
Check out So Wizard Podcast.
The YouTube channel.
You can see me on YouTube there like every day. So
yeah, and Adam's doing their YouTube stuff, correct?
Yes, I do the YouTube. They got their podcast every week.
Yeah, check out those guys. That's a fun podcast. A lot of good comic and movie news there as well.
Yep. Follow them on Twitter too. I check those guys out on Twitter all the time.
Definitely. And so, Johnny, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pull away.
No,
what do you got going on?
No. So yeah, definitely check out Adam and the crew. Check out Advent Dark on Kickstarter right now. Jared's book. Hopefully we'll have Jared on in the future. If you're on Facebook, check out Movie Preview Show for all movie news. And go to Global Comics for all my work.
Yeah, and you've seen the cool Sartana trailer at the beginning of the show.
Yep.
Check that book out.
Yep.
I wanted to ask you, Johnny, about that trailer. I noticed that you have were you trying to emulate?
Yes.
What's that millimeters? Is it like 60?
70 millimeter.
70 millimeter. I
Yes.
knew it. I wanted to ask you since I saw that trailer and that just popped into my head.
That's literally
you were doing it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. That's literally what we were going for.
Great little touch. Anyone that knows Westerns will get that,
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for noticing that.
Yeah, no problem. For me, I just an update on the Mascots Indiegogo. I'm almost done issue 6. I'm putting the finishing touches on the lettering this week and next week, and then I got to do some editing, and then it's going to be ready to go to print. All 3 issues will go to print, and then I'll start fulfilling the campaign. So hopefully by, God, I don't know how long it'll take. Maybe April or May when I physically have them in my hands, and then I'll start fulfilling the campaign. So that's coming. And I am going to be, anyone that's watching now, that I'm going to be jumping on Don Chin's stream right after this because he's closing out X-Farce tonight. So he asked me to be on. So that's check that out if you guys get a chance. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So
awesome.
We'll be back next. Who do we got? Johnny, do you remember who we got next week? I don't remember.
I don't remember. We'll have to check the schedule.
I'm horrible at it. Well, that's why I create the schedule so I don't have to remember who we have.
Maybe the Choking Dad guys, maybe?
Oh, yeah. I know they're coming up. No, there's someone else before them.
Okay.
I don't know who it is. I forget.
We have a packed schedule, people, so make sure you come back and check us out.
No, I know who it is. I just remembered. Jeff Ryder, I think, is
Jeff Ryder next week?
Next week, yeah. And he's one of your good friends, right?
Jeff's a good friend of mine. I met him at San Francisco. Actually, I met him before that, but I met him in New York. But we both hung out at San Francisco Comic Con, the one I was referencing earlier. I've actually done a lot of shows with Jeff. He's a fantastic creator. He's got an awesome book out there on Kickstarter right now. And yeah, can't wait to have him on next week.
Yeah. And then we have Token Dead, I believe, the week after that on St. Patrick's Day.
Cool.
So that'll be interesting. But yeah, so all right. Well, thank you guys
Adam, once
for
again.
joining us.
Thank you guys
again.
Absolutely.
Adam, thanks for coming on as a guest. And the book looks great. Everybody should go check out Social Studies. And we'll be back next week for another episode. So join us then. And all right. Well, good night, everybody. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks again.